following is a presentation of DangerZone Productions.
Listen all you motherfuckers!
I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I am really, really sorry. Those of you who may recall, one of my first reviews I ever did was I reviewed the movie Tremors. And I think I left the wrong impression. You see, when I mocked or nitpicked Tremors, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm an internet reviewer. So if I see something that's not exactly right, inconsistent, or just flat out doesn't make any sense, I'm going to say something about it, okay? And yeah, there's a lot of things with Tremors that doesn't make any sense. Is it inconsistent? Yes. Does that make it a bad movie? No. Is it a great movie? Oh my, no. Is it still entertaining to watch? Yes. I love watching this movie. I like Tremors. I like it a lot. Hell, I watched it last night. Not only that, but I also like the sequel, Tremors 2, Aftershocks. Tremors 2 Aftershocks is the sequel, as I said before, to the original Tremors. It's not exactly the same stick of butter that we got from the first movie, but it's got an interesting new twist and allows us to see more evolution in the graboids in the form of the Shriekers, which I'll get to later. It doesn't have as much star power as the original does, but it more than makes up for it with some pretty good action scenes and some pretty good humor. Let's not waste any time. Let's take a look at Tremors 2 Aftershocks. So, once again, I find myself having to bring up the box art first. And once again, these people have not learned from their mistakes, because they're still giving these things teeth. Look, they don't have teeth. The graboids don't have teeth. The Shriekers don't have teeth. None of them have teeth. You know why? It's because they don't need teeth. They've got some kind of beak things. They don't have teeth, so stop giving them teeth. Getting on to the movie, we find that it opens in Mexico, where we see a Mexican oil rig worker trying to slither across a pipe. Why? To get away from a graboid, of course. At least I think it's a graboid. I'm sorry, aren't these things supposed to be freaking huge? That looks more like Bugs Bunny is coming after him rather than a graboid.
See, you know, I knew I should have made a left turn at Albuquerque.
But of course, the poor Mexican man doesn't make it too far and ends up becoming a burrito.
That's all, folks.
Flash cut back to our old familiar zone of Perfection Valley, Nevada, and we see an old friend of ours, Earl Bassett, played by Fred Ward. There, I said his name right. Fred Ward. Internet trolls. Earl is approached by this guy, Senor Ortega, and is asked to go down to Mexico and clean out the graboids who are, well, threatening to shut down his oil rig. Naturally, Earl's not in too big of a hurry to put himself in harm's way.
Please, we have already spoken to your partner, Senor McKee. He is unwilling to help us.
Sure. Val married a good woman. Why would he want to die?
Of course, we are willing to pay.
Of course they're willing to pay.
Yeah, I imagine that the discussion between the filmmakers and Kevin Bacon probably went a little like this. Kevin, we were wondering if perhaps you'd be interested in playing your character of Valentine in the sequel to Tremors. What do you say?
You!
Simple no would have sufficed, but okay. So, of course, since Kevin Bacon's not available, we instead get this little fart whistle, Grady Hoover. This guy, he's just annoying. I'm sorry, I just don't like this guy. I don't. It's not the fact that him and Fred Ward have absolutely no chemistry together whatsoever. It's just that he gets
Thanks.
annoying real fast with his over-enthusiasm and his upbeat attitude all the time. I mean, yeah, there are a couple of moments where he starts getting a little and starts freaking out, and that's all fine and dandy, and, you know, given the situations, who wouldn't? But through the first half of this movie, he is such a brown-nosing kiss that it will make you wish that one of these things would just fall out of the sky and eat him. That was just a warning shot. Don't make me pull the trigger again. So after a little brown-nosing, Grady finally convinces Earl to take the job.
Senor Ortega?
Unfortunately, this also means that Grady's going too.
And I'm going with him.
But hey, that's okay. Earl finds a way to look on the bright side of things.
Well, maybe you will come in handy. Ha! When they're eating you, it'll give me a chance to get away.
Something else that always bugged me about this movie is the fact that Senor Ortega is so desperate to get Earl down to Mexico to kill these things, and yet you would think, as dire of a situation this is, he would have at least paid to give the man a plane ticket. But no, he doesn't. Look at this. He's having to drive from Nevada to God knows where in Mexico. I hope the guy at least paid him for gas.
Who gets the last soda? 1, 2. What? Scissors, rock, paper. 1, 2, 3. What's this? Scissors, cuts, paper. I win.
What idiot doesn't know how to play rock, paper, scissors? What, was he sheltered as a child?
Ustedes no son los americanos cazadores de monstruos. Por fin llegaron. Mira, que son monstruos también de la tierra.
¿Quién
Está
es,
comiendo todo el mundo aquí con esos dientes así de grandes.
Slow down.
So anyway, when they reach the oil refinery, they're introduced to some of the members of the crew that are still left, which basically means we're looking at, you know, the snack buffet. Until... This is Kate, and if you ask me, she's a way hotter love interest than Rhonda was in the original. I'm just saying. So anyway, the next morning, Grady and Earl set out on their quest to kill some monsters. You know, as I sit here watching this scene, I can't help but wonder what that building was supposed to be. Maybe that's what Kevin Bacon's trailer was supposed to be. I don't know. After a few minutes of driving around and having Grady shouting his lungs out like Charlie Sheen at a wet t-shirt contest, it doesn't take long before a graboid takes notice to him.
Take it easy, huh?
Okay, time for the secret weapon.
Secret weapon? What's that? Really? A remote-controlled car? What is that going to do against a graboid? Oh, that was awesome! Do it again. Nothing says killing monsters more than explosive, remote-controlled cars and Travis Tritt.
Is that a coyote? Yep. Man, he better keep quiet.
Okay, that was pretty funny.
It's vision, Earl. Vision is what separates the average.
Uh-oh, the soundtrack's catching up to him.
I know that song.
Well, I would hope so. It was just playing for the last 3 minutes.
Jesus! Get off the ground, Grady! Get off the ground!
you still playing music if the graboid ate it? Could have at least eaten Grady while you were at it.
When did this movie turn into an old Benny Hill sketch? Oh no, the graboid's heading straight for the end of the first movie!
He stopped. He stopped. Oh,
But they do manage to escape when the graboid snaps the chain while going under a rock.
I think you're gonna need some help.
Help! Who'd be crazy enough to want to help us with this mess?
Yes, who would be crazy enough to come all the way down to Mexico to battle an unknown horde of underground monsters in hopes of rekindling some kind of lost fame and fortune?
Anyway, takes more than that to get me down.
Who else but the Tremors himself, Burt Gummer?
A graboid kind of situation.
Yeah, but what they don't show you is the real reason why he sat forward so quickly. Can I help you?
Waput.
What?
I went Waput.
I'm in the middle of a review.
I went Waput.
I'm in the middle of a review.
Give me Waput.
All right! I'll be right back. Fucking waffles, really?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Back to the movie.
Oh my God.
What?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I just found out they're making another sequel after this movie, and it's not very good.
Pre-Cambrian. That means that this is the oldest life form on the planet. I mean, other than, one cell things, but look at that.
wait a minute. Now, older than dinosaurs?
Way.
So they're from Earth, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
I always thought they're from outer space.
Doesn't look like it.
But their little scientific discussion gets cut a little short when it turns out something is coming dangerously close to the refinery. Could it be a graboid?
Ain't no graboid. It's something more dangerous.
No, it's not a graboid. It's just everybody's favorite gung-ho crazy man Burt Gummer, sporting a very fancy military-grade truck, might I add. Not only does Burt have a new truck, but he also got some fancy new toys in the form of some explosives. Just look at all that hardware. Hell, if you look close enough, you might even be able to spot Waldo back there. The next day, Grady, Earl, and now Burt set out to go, you guessed it, blow up some more graboids. Naturally, Burt's mental side starts coming out when he starts coming up with new and exciting ways to blow up graboids.
Memo. 4 pounds of C4 may be a little excessive.
Okay, I'm no explosives expert, but I'm pretty sure that much C4 would have completely vaporized the son of a... As the hunt continues, Earl and Grady notice that one of the graboids is moving away from them.
So naturally, the smart idea is to follow it, right?
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
So now that Grady and Earl have totaled their truck, they're left with only one option: to face the graboid head-on.
What the hell's it doing? I have no idea.
Well, given the way it's breathing, it might have landed on its nads when it hit your truck. Naturally, now Grady's overjoyed at the fact that they may have actually caught a live one, much to Bert's dismay.
Well, son. No, it isn't. Well,
But it turns out that not all might be as peachy key as he thinks it is.
God almighty.
It's the mating call of Courtney Love.
Looks like a rack of lamb after Oprah Winfrey's got done with it.
While Grady and Earl sit waiting for Pedro to come pick them up, they try to radio the refinery to let everybody know what's going on. Unfortunately, he's met with only static.
Now what? The radio's out. How could that be? I was just talking to her.
Oh, man. You know what that is, don't you?
A rhinoceros getting its foot caught in a blender. But not all is lost. Hey look, Pedro's here. And there. And there. And a little piece over there.
Hey, there he is.
Can't forget those pieces right there.
Pedro? Tell me that's the radio stuff.
Damn. Somebody must have watched Rebecca Black's music video again. But while trying to hotwire themselves a way out of here, we finally get a look at this new form of the graboid.
What the hell is that?
It appears to be some sort of CGI effect.
Well, on the brighter side, at least they only take one shot to kill. And they sound like dogs when they die. That's a weird one.
We got it.
Meanwhile, back at the refinery, Kate's getting a little worried that she's been unable to get radio contact with anybody out in the field. So Julio decides that he's going to go out and look for everybody. Help him? Pull him through the window? Do something, chick. Don't just stand there and yell. Lucky for Little Miss Useless here, Grady and Earl finally show up and blow the monster away. But the question is, where's Bert?
They didn't get him. I think they did get him.
Duh!
Come on, Bert, what happened?
Well, when the radios went out, I decided to return to the refinery. But en route, I find I'm in an ambush situation.
Must have been a couple of dozen of these things.
Well, I dropped the first wave with semi-auto fire, but they just kept coming. Sheer luck, most of them were in front of the truck, so I just popped it in the sixth wheel and ran them down. The ones that got on board, I handled with a combination of small arms fire and hand-to-hand techniques. I am completely out of ammo. That's never happened to me before.
See why I love this guy? He just took down half the monsters in this movie by himself. If that doesn't scream bad, I don't know what is.
So as it turns out, Bert didn't kill all of the monsters. It turns out he actually captured one so that they could study it a little further. And they actually come to find out that unlike the graboids, these creatures actually see by heat rather than sound.
Good. Infrared. It doesn't hear us, it doesn't actually see us, it senses the heat of our bodies.
They also discover some very disturbing facts about these creatures.
They reproduce without having sex.
Ah, come on. Two halves can't make a hole without a hole. Giggity, 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 giggity. Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang. Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang.
And as things often do in these kinds of movies, things take a sudden turn for the worse when the monsters get into Bert's food and start multiplying like rabbits at a math convention.
Okay, get ready to hate me, internet trolls, because now I have to nitpick. Okay, so they're using the doors to kind of tiptoe past the Screechers. Okay, I get that. But if you look closely at the film, you'll notice that their feet are kind of sticking out underneath the bottoms of the doors. So technically, wouldn't the Screechers, you know, see their feet and still attack them? Alright, sheesh. Back to the movie.
Okay, I've got to show you guys this scene just because of how awesome it is.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Killing spree.
Oh, no.
That was the awesome part. Here's the downside to that.
Damn. We're dead.
So with no more ammunition and, well, no more cars, they're now stuck at the refinery. They get chased by Screechers, and Grady, Kate, and Earl end up on top of a tower, while Bert gets the end of the deal and gets stuck in the shovel of a backhoe. But even that doesn't last very long, as the Screechers' intelligence starts to show. Hey, at the very least, maybe these things have a future working with Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. Or Cirque du Soleil, one of the two. Luckily, Bert springs into action.
Problem solved.
But once again, Bert's hasty thinking ends up getting them into more trouble, as it turns out the place they locked him into is full of what else?
Sweet snack food? Rice flour. I didn't know! How could I have known?
Don't they ever get crazy?
There'll be 100 of them. Okay. Okay. Come on. Okay, what? Okay. I've got a plan.
A plan? Let me put on my slightly larger glasses.
So Earl's plan is to sneak into the shed, disguised as a cream puff, I suppose, and get some bombs from Bert's truck. Wouldn't they technically be able to see his face? I mean, it's not exactly covered. Alright, sorry.
He started to melt.
Earl, you're melting.
What a world!
Come on, go!
So yeah, Earl does manage to get to the bombs, but unfortunately, the Screechers are aware of his presence now. So, thanks to Kate and Grady, Earl manages to escape the warehouse and informs Bert that he just threw a bomb in the back of his truck.
You what? That's 2.5 tons of high explosives, Earl. You say that's not enough? Oh, God, Bert, don't tell me it's not enough. Not enough? Never mind, just run. Faster!
And based on what you just heard, I think you all know where this is going. And so, with the last of the Screechers blown straight to hell, our four heroes stand on the crater that used to be the refinery and ponder themselves how the hell they're going to get back to civilization.
And so that was Tremors. I liked it. Granted, you have to admit, there's just no beating the original. It's got better star power, and honestly, it's a unique take on the whole monster movie genre. Really, when you think about it, it's kind of a throwback to the classic old-school cheesy monster movies. But in the long run of things, it's still an enjoyable movie. I still watch it to this day. In fact, I think I'm going to go watch it right now. Thanks for joining me. See you next time right here in the Danger Zone.
probably ate somebody that didn't agree with it.